sharing the truth one fact at a time. This is the Free America Radio Network.
Hey folks, this is the Wayne S. Pierce Show podcast. Not going to be a live show today. Lots of things going on, considering for the last several hours I have been, let's just say, wanting to throw my computer out the window. So, no, I had to erase and reinstall and do all that, and it took a little while. Yeah, so much for Windows products. Yes, I'm still trying to figure out how to do the recordings and do the show from Linux Ubuntu or something like that, Linux Mint. Anyway, anybody got an idea? Maybe you can share that with me at freeamericaradio@usa.com. I want to give a big shout out to the one and only Mr. Spencer Hughes over at spencerhughes.net and the Spencer Hughes Show on Facebook. Go over there and tell him Free America Radio Network, Wayne S. Pierce had sent you. Yes, anyway. Lots of things going on today, other than having to reinstall the operating system on my computer. I've been doing good. This last weekend I was at an event called Nada Dada Motel. It was an art thing for artists. I am an artist, so it was my first year of participating. It was pretty good. The experience is really cool, and I really appreciated everybody that came by. So thank you, Nada Dada Motel. You can check out their information over at Nada Dada, that's one word, Nada Dada Motel on Facebook, and check out the pictures that are there and everything. So anyway, what do we do, folks? Here we are on a Monday on the 23rd of June 2014, and I got to tell you, yeah, things are not looking the greatest. I would imagine. I'm just not only imagine, but I can see it. It's there. It's right in front of me. Things are not doing good. Other people might say that things are doing fantastic and the whole nine yards, but I what can you say? Seriously. If something is in front of you and it is what it is, why are you trying to believe it's something else? This is something that really, really has a lot of people up in arms. Excuse me. Because, somebody will come along and tell them, hey, look, here's this, here's that. But when they don't believe you, they're kind of like, well, I don't see it that way. Well, how can you not? You know what I mean? It's right there in front of you. So if a big charging rhinoceros was coming at you, I think you would see that, wouldn't you? I'm just saying. So anyway, hey, if you want to contact me, freeamericaradio@usa.com, freeamericaradio@usa.com. The website is freeamericaradio.us, and I hope things are looking up for me everywhere. So hopefully I'll have some information about how you can listen to this show on Second Life. Yes, if anybody's into that game. I just recently reacquainted myself with the game, so I'll put it to you that way. And it's things are looking up. The views expressed today, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, on Free America Radio Network on Spreaker.com, and also on freeamericaradio.us. You can also listen to it on wakingupthemasses.com, and also on 1610 a.m. in the Chickamauga, Georgia area. And hopefully I'll hear from people. I'd like you to contact me. freeamericaradio@usa.com. freeamericaradio@usa.com. That's the email. freeamericaradio.us is the website. And I shall be back right after this.
Your community radio station.
Waking up the masses. Truth knowledge, and wisdom for your consumption. Waking up the masses. News and views concerning the New World Order. Waking up the masses. Join Bob Brutus as he pulls back the curtain on the esoteric agenda which has been in play for a millennia. Waking up the masses. WakingUpTheMasses.com. Hey folks, welcome. This is the Wayne S. Pierce Show podcast for the 23rd of June, 2014. How are you all today? Lots of things going on. We have an influx of illegal aliens at the border, and the militias, citizen militias, have to be down there now to protect the border. But then again, on the other hand, other people are going to be arguing, why are you trying to keep people out? Well, what part of this country is broke, don't you understand? The reason why the influx is because the controllers, I had to take a drink of something, those people that actually control the minions in Washington, D.C., want to turn this country into a third world nation. And they want to destroy it. And that's just the way it is. Now, a lot of people would say, well, that's not what I hear on the news, if I can speak. And that's true. That's not what you're going to hear on the news, because they're not going to put it that way. They're going to tell you what they are told to tell you. That would be everything in the state-run media. That would be everything on your cable news. They're not going to tell you the truth. They're not going to tell you anything outside of the script that was written for them. That's basically it. They're not going to do that. So, with the influx of people at the borders, and with the citizens here not wanting them to come over, there's going to be a huge battle. Could be a battle of wits, could be a battle of intelligence, could be a physical battle, could be shots fired, could be, you name it, could be. Don't know, but it could be. No one really knows for sure, honestly, because, you've got those that listen to their state-run media and their stupid bull crap, on that end, and they're not going to believe anything. Okay? Drudge Report has a link to Breitbart column, Illegal Immigrants Hopping Death Train to U.S. Hoping for Amnesty. Houston, Texas. This was written by, I've got to find the person's name here. Stupid. Anyway. It was written by Kristen Tate over at Breitbart.com. Houston, Texas. Thousands of illegal immigrants are flooding the U.S.-Mexico border, and the problem isn't likely to get better anytime soon. In a mad dash to make it to the U.S., many of the Latino miners are hopping aboard a network of Mexican freight trains called El Tren de la Muerte. There we go. Yes, it's that word. Or, in English, Death Train. The phenomenon may support claims that the Obama administration's lax stance on immigration is encouraging thousands of children to put their lives at risk. Children who travel via death train must jump onto a moving freight car. Minors cannot successfully pull themselves onto the traveling cars. Let me read that again. Minors who cannot successfully pull themselves onto the traveling cars fall onto the tracks. Many are left with extreme injuries. Eric Dahl Bradine of El Salvador, if I can speak, representative for the Catholic Relief Services, told the Colorado Gazette that those who get injured on the train tracks often return home. She added, quote, "The couplings between the cars are notoriously dangerous. I see children who have lost an arm or a leg or both." The Obama administration actions, I just read this. The Obama administration's actions and rhetoric, which has caused Central Americans to believe they will receive amnesty if they come to the U.S., is likely the driving force behind the surge at the border. Quote, "The U.S. is partly responsible for foreign nationals taking extreme measures that risk the lives of their children," unquote. Zach Taylor, chairman of the National Association for Former Border Patrol Officers, told Breitbart, Texas. Quote, "Our government is encouraging foreign nationals to come into our country illegally and stay," unquote. Upon arrival in the U.S., instead of being turned away, the Latino children are given taxpayer-subsidized benefits that include housing, food, recreation, counseling, education, and legal advice. On top of this, each week authorities are currently releasing hundreds of illegal immigrants onto U.S. soil. Many of the freed immigrants are told to show up in court at a later date and are then released and reunited with their family members in the U.S. Victor, I can't pronounce that name, a professor at the University of Texas, El Paso, former chief patrol agent of Tucson sector and former chief patrol agent in El Paso sector, told Breitbart, Texas, that the migrants are, quote, "scheduled for a hearing sometime in the future. They promise to show up and then get released. They then often call up relatives in Central America and tell them they got released," unquote. It is easy to imagine that the release, coupled with the benefits while in custody, only further incentivize minors to hop on the death train. Despite such considerable factors, the Obama administration has claimed no responsibility for the young lives being put at risk during the trek north. The only reason for the spike in illegal crossers, the White House claims, is violence and poverty in the migrants' home countries. Department of Homeland Security Jay Johnson claimed at the press conference earlier this month that he is not, quote, "encouraging illegal immigration in any way, shape, or form," unquote. So there you go. Excuse me. Influx at the border of illegal immigrants. I don't even want to call them immigrants. They're illegal aliens. They need to be sent home. Okay? That's just the way it is. Now, here's something else along that line. Now, I mentioned the obvious, that the other part of the argument is, well, they want to come here for a better life because their country over there is falling apart and, it's crumbling and they need, they want hope, they want, a better life, so they come to the U.S. I totally and absolutely agree with legal immigration. Do it the right way. Don't come to this country expecting a handout. Yes, it's happened before. That is why we are $18 trillion in debt, or closer to the actual number, 65 to $70 trillion in debt. So what part of America is broke don't these people understand? And the only reason why they come over here, even though they know we're broke, is to collapse the country. The more you inundate the system with more pressure, and the system falls apart. Okay? Now, in that same lines, you've got the Cloward and Piven situation going on. Overwhelm the system. Well, guess what? It's pretty overwhelmed at this point. It's pretty overwhelmed at this point. It is getting to the point where if the system is continually overburdened with illegal aliens from everywhere, not just from Mexico and Central America, but from everywhere in the world, you and I are not going to have jobs. We're not going to have houses. We're going to be living on the streets. Why? Because everything's going to collapse and we're not going to be able to afford anything. As a matter of fact, that's exactly what Washington, D.C. wants. And I'll talk more about that article on The views expressed live. Excuse me. Holy crap. The what else is there? Okay. Now, I want to get into, and I don't get into this much because I just think it's a bunch of freaking hooey, and that is global warming. It's false. Every credible scientist on the face of the planet has said, Al Gore is wrong. He's a dummy. He doesn't know what he's got, pseudoscience and all this, that, and the other thing. And, I wonder who he paid. I watched that movie, Inconvenient Truth. Yeah, I watched that. That's like an hour and a half I can't get back because it was from the first 10 minutes was cool. This was great, expository stuff. And then all of a sudden he started getting into all this other stuff, and I'm watching and I'm looking and I'm going, this is a bunch of bullcrap. And he won an Oscar for it. Okay? It's an absolute bunch of bullcrap. And, it says here, Christopher Booker over at The Telegraph writes, the scandal of fiddled global warming data. The U.S. has actually been cooling since the 30s, the hottest decade on record. And he says, when future generations try to understand how the world got carried away around the end of the 20th century by the panic over global warming, few things will amaze them more than the part played in stoking up the scare by the fiddling of the official temperature data. There was already much evidence of this 7 years ago when, as Christopher Booker says, when I was writing my history of the scare, the real global warming disaster. But now, another damning example has been uncovered by Stephen Goddard's U.S. blog Real Science, showing how shamelessly manipulated has been one of the world's most influential climate records. The graph of the U.S. surface temperature records published by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. Goddard shows how, in recent years, NOAA's U.S. Historical Climatology Network has been, quote-unquote, adjusting its record by replacing real temperatures with data, quote-unquote, fabricated by computer models. The effect of this has been to downgrade earlier temperatures and to exaggerate those from recent decades to give the impression that the Earth has been warming up much more than is justified by the actual data. In several posts headed, quote, data tampering at USHCN/GISS, unquote, Goddard compares the currently published temperature graphs with those based only on temperatures measured at the time. These show that the U.S. has actually been cooling since the 30s, the hottest decade on record, whereas the latest graph, nearly half of it's based on fabricated data, shows it to have been warming at a rate equivalent to more than 3 degrees centigrade per century. As the writer here says, when I first began examining the global warming scare, I found nothing more puzzling than the way officially approved scientists kept on being shown to have finagled their data, as in that ludicrous hockey stick graph, pretending to prove that the world has suddenly become much hotter than at any time in 1,000 years. Any theory needing to rely on consistently on fudging the evidence, I concluded, must be looked on not as science at all, but as simply a rather alarming case study in the aberrations of group psychology. That's what he said. Global warming is a fraud, people. Period. End of sentence. Done. It's a complete and utter fraud. Okay? Trying to scare you out of a few climate dollars. Carbon credits. That's all it is. So I don't get much into that, but I can tell you this much. What they're saying is a total, not this guy. I mean, you can tell the real, stuff from, the bullcrap. So who's right and who's wrong in all of this? Come on. Sorry, had to take a drink of something. A little Pepsi this morning. But look at the evidence that's there. Look at what is there right in front of your face. If somebody says this, and this, but the data that you're looking at does not match what the person is saying, that person's a fraud. Same thing with Al Gore and his inconvenient truth. Just rely on your own intuition and your own instincts. You know exactly what's wrong, what's right, and your gut feeling is 100% correct at all times. So go with that. So anyway, what else, folks? Jeez, I keep clicking off of the Drudge Report. I'm going there because it's an aggregate of headlines, and so I want to give you as many as I can in the hour that I have with you. And I will talk about the Islamic law spread in Iraq, and of course a article here: judge who sentenced Saddam to death is captured and executed by ISIS. Yeah, our own people, folks. Go look at it. They were trained by our people in Jordan, okay? By our own people, all right? So, getting into a lot of other stuff here, the one thing that I can say is that technology is overwhelming sometimes. The Wall Street Journal talks about, with Google, an eye on new screens. Company's developer Confab will touch on TVs, cars, watches, and thermostats. Rolf Winkler and Alistair Barr wrote this yesterday, posted this yesterday at Wall Street Journal, online.wsj.com. I'm going to put this specific link in the Wayne S. Pierce Show Facebook page. And it says, 3 weeks after thousands of software programmers converged on San Francisco for Apple Incorporated's developer conference, a similar crowd will descend this week for Google's version. Called I.O., the Google conference promises to be much broader in scope than Apple's, reflecting the ambitions of Chief Executive Larry Page. Apple focused on new software for phones and tablets, but Google's Confab will touch on TVs, cars, watches, and thermostats, all of which host some version of Google's software. Developers attending the conference, which starts Wednesday, will be looking for more outlets for their apps, more ways to get paid for them, and hints on where Google is going next. Such conferences are crucial to the long-term future of companies like Google and Apple, which own the operating systems that power most of the world's mobile devices. They need to entice developers to create great apps so the devices appeal to consumers. Google's Android operating system has been doing well. 4 of every 5 smartphones shipped worldwide last year run Android, another sign of Google's success. As the number of Android phones climbed past 1 billion last year, the number of app downloads from Google's Play Store surpassed those of Apple's App Store for the first time. One big theme at the conference is expected to be the additional screens Google is opening to developers on watches, TVs, and cars. Attendees are expected to get their first chance to try Android Wear, Google's new software for wearable devices that it introduced earlier this year. They also are hoping to see how new Google software called Android TV might give them an opportunity to get their apps and games on the living room screen. One potential boost, a rumored Google set-top box using the Android TV software. I don't know, folks. I got to say this. I have to put this out here. There are times when technology is great and wonderful and fantastic and just absolutely great. I have to admit that. It's just fantastic. It's great. It's wonderful. It's there, but the fact is that it can be a little overwhelming for people that actually don't know anything about it or are scared, to even touch a computer, and
a network of Mexican trade.
Yeah, it's just stupid. I had a web page up and there it went. Damn automatic videos. Anyway, but yeah, technology can be overwhelming. Can be just seriously overwhelming. And if you don't know anything about computers or smartphones, or you don't carry one, or you just got one of these little simple page go type phones, that kind of thing, you know what? You're going to be caught in the back of the train, buddy. That's just the way it is. It's not going to look good for you, okay? I'm going to put this next article on the Wayne S. Pierce Show Facebook page and the Free America Radio Facebook page because of the fact that I have mentioned this many times. Okay? Breitbart.com, exclusive. Senator Jeff Sessions, pro-amnesty elites treat people as commodities. Okay? I'm going to put the video on the Wayne S. Pierce Show and the Free America Radio Facebook page. Okay? Want you to go check it out because I've been saying that for months. The elites, businesses, all of that treat you as a commodity. And I've also said that in terms of the educational, or I'm just going to say it like it is, the indoctrinational, system that we have in our governmental indoctrination institutes. They treat you as commodities. Parents, your kid sitting in that public school is a commodity to that school district. That if they're not there, they lose funding for the next year. How about just homeschooling? You'll save time and money and you won't stress out. It's right there. People do it. They change their lifestyles to do just that. Perhaps no issue better illustrates the current divide between everyday citizens and our political and business elites than the issue of immigration. The latter group draws the financial gains from a generous labor supply without considering the perspective of those on the other side of the ledger. The working people who have to worry about being laid off and replaced with lower wage workers, about the strain placed on their local hospitals and neighborhood resources, or about cartel violence spilling across the border into our communities. So that's something to take a look at, folks, because in and of itself, we are allowing our own demise. As a matter of fact, we are helping implement it. We are helping implement our own destruction. And you folks don't even get that, do you? By allowing illegal immigration, by allowing all of that, by allowing our politicians to create corrupt policies that only benefit them, you are paying for your own destruction. But does that matter? I got a question. What are you going to do if? Just think about that for a minute. What are you going to do if? Got a question? I may have an answer. Email me, freeamericaradio@usa.com, freeamericaradio@usa.com. The website is freeamericaradio.us. I'm here Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, with the views expressed live on Free America Radio Network. Local radio with a worldwide connection. The Free America Radio Network. Go to www.freeamericaradio.us. Listen to Kicking the Capstone with Bob Brutus immediately following the views expressed live. This is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce from the Views Expressed. Come join me Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern on Spreaker.com. Hey, you folks, this is the Wayne S. Pierce Show podcast. Yes, for the 23rd of June, 2014. Lots of things going on, and I know I say that all the time because there is, and it seems like it changes every 5 minutes, so we have to be on top of everything that we do. Oh, goodness gracious. I don't know, folks. I don't know. You know, I'm at the point where I really feel that I'm at the point where I feel like it gets to this point that you just want to go outside and scream at everybody so that they can understand what's going on. So I don't do that. I don't. Because I have a radio show to do that on. So anyway, I don't scream at people anyway. What I try to do is I calmly present the information, and that's my phone. So be right back. And that's why I like caller ID. So anyway, it pays to shut off the phone when you're doing a podcast, okay? It pays. It does. And anyway, where was I? Oh, yeah, about the crap going on around the world. Okay, here's this. From the 23rd of June today, right now, 2014, at the Chicago Tribune, new sensors will scoop up big data on Chicago. David Heinzman, Tribune reporter. Thank you, David. The curled metal figures set to go up on a handful of Michigan Avenue light poles later this summer may look like delicate pieces of sculpture, but researchers say they'll provide a big step forward in the way Chicago understands itself by observing the city's people and surroundings. The smooth perforated sheaths, that word, you know what I mean, of metal are decorative, but their job is to protect and conceal a system of data collection sensors that will measure air quality, light sensitivity, sound, volume, heat, precipitation, and wind. The sensors will also count people by measuring wireless signals on mobile devices. Yeah, how fun is that going to be, folks? Some experts caution that efforts like the one launching here to collect data from people and their surroundings pose concerns of a Big Brother intrusion into personal privacy. In particular, sensors collecting cell phone data make privacy proponents nervous, but computer scientist Charlie Catlett said the planners have taken precautions to design their sensors to observe mobile devices and count contact with the signal rather than the record of digital address of each device. Researchers have doubled their effort, the Array of Things project, Gathering and publishing such a broad swath of data will give scientists the tools to make Chicago a safer, more efficient, and cleaner place to live, said Catlett, director of the Urban Center for Computation and Data, part of a joint initiative between the University of Chicago and Argonne National Laboratory near Lemont. The novelty of a permanent data collection infrastructure may also give Chicago a competitive advantage in attracting technological research. Researchers contend, quote, "The city is interested in making Chicago a place where innovation happens," unquote, said Catlett. It's a pretty lengthy article, folks. I'll put that up there on the Wayne S. Pierce Show Facebook page and also the Free America Radio Facebook page, because that's interesting. I mean, because I think Farmingdale or something, I don't know, a place out in Michigan, Farmington Hills, that's the one. Farmington Hills had the same thing go up, and I don't see anybody, or haven't heard anybody, say anything or protest against it or anything of that nature. So I don't know. I have no clue. I don't know. So what I'd like to do, though, is I'd like to hear from you if you're in those areas of Farmington Hills and Chicago. If you're in that area, I must have put it up already. It's on Free America Radio and the Wayne S. Pierce Show Facebook page. If you're in those areas, please let me know. I want to know what's going on. I want to hear from you specifically, because you are important to this show. Your voice is important to this show. Your abilities to gather information and share it is important, not only to you and the show and everybody else around you, but you need to find the truth and the facts. And the thing that now, I'm going to say this, and I know that a lot of people out there are of the mindset that anybody that doesn't believe their way is a conspiracy theorist. Anybody that doesn't believe in the liberal agenda is a conspiracy theorist. They're more conservative, and they're just going to stop us from doing whatever. I want to say this. I know I'm going to piss somebody off, but you hardcore leftist liberals are the stupidest people on the face of the planet. Period. End of sentence. Done. I'm not even going to argue and debate you on that. You are. You need to look at yourself in the mirror and give yourself a gut check, because this stuff is happening around you and you're sitting there going, well, what's the problem? I have nothing to hide. It's not about hiding anything. It's not about holding anything back either. It's about them controlling every aspect of your life, including who you call, what you talk about, where you go, what you eat. They're going to know your menu. You name it, they're going to know it. And the more they know about you, the more that they can control you. Don't you get it, you far-left liberal fascists? Why don't you break free of that mindset and play with the people that actually know what the hell's going on and can at least direct your path and into a more positive, more efficient, way of living, and not be so, concerned about control. Because I'll tell you what, right now, you far-left liberal fascist pig communists, it's not about how much money you're going to make, because you can make all the money you want. But when you die, your family and friends and possibly the state's going to take everything. So think about that one. Are you so heartless that you're going to turn away from your family? Just think about that for a minute. Are you so heartless that you're going to allow the system that you created take your family? Because that's exactly what's going to happen. They're going to get done with you for whatever reason, and they're going to haul you away. I hope you figured that one out. Anyway, folks, let's go to another article, shall we? Because, man, oh man, oh man, there's just so much going on. Let's go over to, I'm going to do something local. And here, I broadcast live from the biggest little city in the world on the Views Express Live, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. And the biggest little city in the world, Reno, Nevada. And let's see what wonderful local news is here. Okay, this past weekend I went to a art event, if you will, and there was something going on in downtown Reno at Barbecue Brews and Blues Festival 2014. Now, I have to say this art event that I went to opened up on the wrong weekend, because not only did the Brews and Blues happen, but we had the Reno Rodeo opening, and so it's not conducive to anything else when you have those two major events happening. Okay, so it was a great experience. I cannot tell you anything else other than it was a great experience, and I really enjoyed it. And I want to read you a letter to the editor from the RGJ.com, the Reno Gazette-Journal. This is a letter to the editor. Fat cats don't care about improving schools. Once upon a time, in a state capital called Carson City, in a fine room around a thick wooden table, wearing three-piece suits and smoking fancy cigars, sat a group of men best described as Nevada fat cats. The conversation turned to education when one of them asked, "So, what should we do about our lousy schools?" A quick and indignant reply was heard. "Why should we do anything if we educate the children who will work in our casinos and big box stores?" After a long and reflective silence, one of them asked, "Does anyone know a good accountant?" This is not fairy tale. John Solari's One View of the Reno Gazette-Journal, June 17th, reflects the legacy of this ugly history and explains why Nevada businesses don't pay taxes and our schools are the worst in the nation. Vote yes on question 3. I got some midterm elections and propositions coming up in November, so this is something that people have an issue about here and probably elsewhere, because your governmental indoctrination institutes are the worst piece of crap on the face of this planet, because of the fact the far left liberal communist fascist pigs are indoctrinating your children with whatever they want them to learn. It has nothing to do with you. I remember the parent-teacher conferences that my parents and I used to have when I was a kid. And it came down, to the fact that, if I wasn't paying attention, then I wasn't going to get out of that grade. My mother helped me pay attention, helped me learn, helped me go beyond the limitations. And guess what? I graduated high school. Not a valedictorian, not, 4.0, but I graduated. And if it wasn't for those parent-teacher conferences and the fact that the teacher worked with me when I was younger, I wouldn't have got out of school. I probably would have quit. But at a certain time in these governmental indoctrination institutes that I was in, I became so bored because, I already knew this stuff. As I progressed throughout the grades, 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade, went up there. By the time I was in the 9th grade, I was doing 12th grade math and college level English. And people were wondering why I was getting poor grades. Because I was bored. Why am I learning the stuff over and over and over again in the successive years that I keep going to school? But I did it to satisfy them. I learned a great deal from it, but now it's not like that. You don't have the parent-teacher conferences. You don't have any of that. You have this idea that one size fits all, Common Core, for instance. You have this philosophy of no child left behind and all this, that, and the other thing. Well, all that's bullcrap. All of it. All of it. You know, Jindal down in Louisiana, you know, Governor Jindal, he totally got out of Common Core. A lot of states are getting out of Common Core, period, because it is the worst piece of crap on the face of the planet, period. Done. I don't give a crap what your excuse for using it is. It's a piece of crap and it needs to go in the toilet. It needs to get flushed. Bye-bye. Go away, Common Core. Because it is garbage. I don't know why people can't understand that. But when I was in school, probably when you guys were in school, if you're older than 40, you know, parent-teacher conferences, PTA, we sat down with the teachers, we got in trouble, of course, and so we had detention, you know, all that. You got to stay after school because you were in trouble. Really? You remember you had, I will not talk in class. Remember you had to write that 100 times on the chalkboard? That's not discipline. That was fun for me, man. I created a game out of the whole thing. You know, that was kind of cool. But I didn't talk in class after that, but it was cool. But now you don't get any of that. You get this inefficiency in these institutes. You get this inefficiency from not only the educators, but also from the students. And it's all geared to putting blinders on the students, and this is all you're going to learn. You're not going to think outside the box. You're not going to have critical thinking. You're not going to be innovative. Will create the world around you for you to be in. You are not going to create it for anybody else, and we're not going to accept it. That is what the government is telling these students. Well, if it wasn't for the fact that people thought outside the box, and maybe this is a bad example, but we wouldn't have people like George Lucas or Steven Spielberg or Steve Jobs or Bill Gates or any number of people like that. You know what I'm saying? So get your kids out of your freaking governmental indoctrination institutes and stop allowing these schools to do that crap. It's your responsibility, not the schools, to raise your children, and no, it doesn't take Hillary Clinton to raise a village, okay? It takes a village to raise it. No, it doesn't, you old bag. Shut your big damn liberal mouth and go away. I don't know why people, I don't even know why people want to buy her book, man. I know she's got a new book out, and sales are not even close to paying back the publisher. Why? Because nobody likes her. What difference at this point does it make? It makes a big difference. You could say a few words, but yeah. Yeah, I know. Little rant there, just a little rant, nothing too big. Oh, God, folks. I mean, here we are in a world that's just turned upside down. Why? Well, because we've allowed it. Can you say duh? Because, I mean, you don't have the ability, or I'm not going to say you. I'm not using the word you specifically for anybody. I'm just using it generically. You don't have the ability to stand up to these thugs when you are allowing them to take control of your life. I mean, that's a pretty, not profound statement. That should be a very duh statement to anybody. If you've created this, you're not able to kill the monster. Okay? You're not able to do it at this point right now because of the fact that you are so plugged in to that liberal, Marxist, fascist, communist philosophy. Give it to me now because I deserve it. Okay? That's more or less a selfish ideal. And on the opposite end of that is communism, meaning they come in and just take over your world and do whatever, they treat you like a commodity. Because that's what you are. On the other side of that coin is, give me what I want because I deserve it. I'm a good person. what this whole corrupt group of people in Washington, D.C. are doing are creating they're creating an effect that effect where you look at your captor and say, I want to be here. You know? And unfortunately, that's where most people are nowadays when it comes to using the government benefits and the handouts as a lifestyle. No, you don't deserve it, moron. You need to get your butt up and go out and work for something for a change. What? You lost all of your unemployment and emergency unemployment, and now you're trying to file for Social Security disability? Well, good luck with that. I mean, come on. As of the beginning of this year, I think most people in that type of situation have the Affordable Care Act or some kind of Medicaid or something, you know. Medicare or something. I don't know what the hell it is. The facts are the facts, folks. They're right out there in front of you, and if you're not able to see them, you better open your damn eyes before that steamroller comes and squashes you like a freaking bug. You know? It's... I don't know. Somebody has opened Pandora's box and is very afraid to close it now. I think we the people need to step up, or as Brian Lang over at LiveTruthRadio.com says, stand up, speak out, and get involved. I think we need to start pushing the envelope. Not only the envelope, we need to push against the barrier that they have set up for us. That we need to collapse their ideology when it comes to globalism and fascism and communism and turning the United States of America into a third world nation. We need to stop it. And if you don't have the balls to do that, then pack your bags. I'm sure China and Russia would love your citizenship. Bye. Don't let the border hit you on the ass on the way out. I'll be back right after this. Forever Me by Thomas Amo. Hannah Richards isn't your typical 16-year-old at Wichita Falls High. Fashion, trends, cosmetic, and style are unimportant to her. An avid reader, guitar player, and classic movie and television buff, Hannah marches to the beat of her own drum. Visible only to her father, the town sheriff, and her two best friends, Lauren and Haley, Hannah lives a simple, unpampered life as an Eastie. After coming to the aid of Taylor Monroe, a popular member of the Stilettos at school, and a series of misunderstandings with her friends, Hannah is forced to reinvent herself. She quickly gets caught up in a life much different than the one she knows, where status, glamour, makeup, and appearance and acceptance become her masters. And what of the dark secret that haunts the streets of Wichita Falls? Can Hannah survive the lies, deceit, jealousy, and rage that are now waiting for her around every corner? Will she succumb to the pressures of popularity? Or will she be crushed under the heels of the Stilettos? High school is hard enough just being yourself, let alone trying to be someone you're not. Forever Me by Thomas Amo. Available on the Kindle at Amazon.com. It's no longer a conspiracy theory. It's a conspiracy fact. The TSA is out on the streets. The FBI is spying on you. And you are in the crosshairs of the New World Order. Come listen to The Views Expressed with your host, Reverend Wayne S. Pierce. Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. Right here on Spreaker.com. Hey, you folks, how you doing? This is the Wayne S. Pierce Show podcast for the 23rd of June, 2014. You know, you can email me, freeamericaradio@usa.com, freeamericaradio@usa.com. You can also go to the Wayne S. Pierce Show website, and that's simple, the Wayne S. Pierce Show.weebly.com. And you can go there check out the show. If you want to sponsor the show, you can do that. Or if you want to contribute one time, I mean, that's cool too. You can donate. If you want to sponsor the show, go to the sponsors page. Those rates are not going to go up for right now. So please get in on the ground floor of Free America Radio Network. We are going to the next level. We are at, I believe, radiokahuna.com still. And I also believe, and we are on the Waking Up the Masses radio network at wakingupthemasses.com with Bob Brutus over there. And he broadcasts the views expressed live, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, right there on wakingupthemasses.com as well. So anything that you can do to help out Free America Radio Network or to specifically sponsor this show, just email me. That's all. Just email me. freeamericaradio@usa.com. freeamericaradio@usa.com. So, how are we all doing today? It's Monday. I know you think, I know what you're feeling. I know what you're feeling. Jeez, I wish Monday was over already. Huh? Yeah, so do I. I mean, seriously. I got a lot of work to do. I've just got things going on all over the place. And so I've got to, get on to that. If you want to help out Free America Radio Network by writing an article I can publish and post on the website, that would be cool. Our website is freeamericaradio.us. You can write an article if you like. You can, whatever you want to do. If you want to sponsor the website, if you want to sponsor any shows on Free America Radio Network, and you have a graphic and you're doing, something and you're selling something, please send that and, go to freeamericaradio.us, go look at the sponsors page, and that's the rates. Again, if you have any questions, please ask me. freeamericaradio@usa.com. freeamericaradio@usa.com. I'll answer any question you have if I know. If I don't know, I'm going to tell you I don't know. So anyway, I want you all to know that the Views Express Live is on at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern on freeamericaradio.us, on Spreaker.com, and on wakingupthemasses.com. You can also hear it on the TuneIn app on your smartphones, and you can download that at the Google Store if you'd like, or whichever way you can get TuneIn app. And you can punch in Waking Up the Masses, and it should come up, and there you go. And you can listen to a bunch of shows on the Waking Up the Masses radio network, including the Views Express Live, which is on 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. If you have any questions about shows on Waking Up the Masses radio network, go to wakingupthemasses.com. Email Bob Brutus. I'm sure he has an answer for you. So there you go. Lots of stuff going on, like you heard on the promo there. We got Forever Me by Thomas Amo. You can pick that book up at Amazon or on the Kindle. So please do go to radiorocktheblitz.blogspot.com for more information. I'm sure he has some answers to your questions as well. So have a wonderful and fantastic Monday. And remember, the Views Express Live, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern on the Free America Radio Network at freeamericaradio.us. Talk to you guys later.